Hi guys, I thought I would do an update because I haven't done one for quite a while, quite a long time actually. And so if you don't know who I am, my name is Emily Davis, and today is the 15th of December 2021. And what I wanted to talk about was focusing on what you want and not what you don't want. So that means turning off your TV and turning off the radio because your thoughts are being manipulated, which is why we are seeing as a collective reality loads of people just constantly talking about restrictions, lockdowns, vaccines, etc., etc., none of which is lawful and none of which really anybody wants or needs. First thing I want to talk about is viruses. Viruses are a load of bullshit. There are no viruses. Your body runs on nutrients, and so that means not non-foods, that means actual foods that contain nutrients, uncooked fruits, vegetables. That's what you need. You need amino acids, you need water. And people are don't appear to be wanting to eat to nourish, which is what you need to do now if you want to stay well, because at the end of the day the body is in the physical, so you do need to understand that you need to nourish your body with healthy foods. And I would suggest to preferably eat as much raw food as you possibly can. Fruits, veg, salads, that kind of stuff. And drink a lot of water. Make sure your water's filtered and, so it doesn't contain fluoride, chlorine, and any other nasties and crap that gets into the tap water. So so what your body then does is it filters. When you put the food in, it filters out what it needs. Each organ has a filtering function, and you get rid of what you don't want. And if you eat a lot of crap, you basically are going to have a build-up. And when you do get a build-up, eventually when there's too much in there, what happens is you start showing symptoms of disease, and that is because your body wants to clear out. And a bit like when you have a spring clean, you get everything out, you sort out, the whole place looks like a worse mess than what it was before, and then when you're done, it's great, but you get rid of a load of shit. So so it looks like flu symptoms or COVID symptoms, whichever you want to call it, but make no mistake that the so-called SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, coronavirus has not ever been isolated. There is no proof of that. There is no government on this earth, or alleged government on this earth, that has isolated that virus. So it isn't a virus. There is no such thing as viruses. There are toxins within your body, and toxins don't just come from food. They come from the air that you breathe. There's obviously toxins in as well, and people, toxic emotions. So there are many factors. Now, there's lots of people, elderly people who are in care homes who need to get out. There are staff within who are stopping people from taking their relatives out, and they need to know the truth. They need to know the facts. That is that they don't have any authority. You've asked them to look after your elderly relatives, and if they're not doing the job satisfactorily, as you want it done, then you take them out, and that's the end of it. So What you can do is you can serve the OPPT UCC filings on them and just take your relative. If you're worried that the police are going to get involved, serve notices on them as well, so that they stay out of it, because it's not anything to do with them and you're not committing a crime to take your elderly relative out. I know there are lots of people online who are saying, oh, do this, join this union, join this group, join that group, and all the rest of it. But the fact is that all the governments have been foreclosed. I've talked about this loads of times, and that still remains a fact. OPPT, the One People's Public Trust, was led by the lead trustee, Heather Antucci-Giraffe, and two other guys, Randall Hollis Hilner and Caleb Skinner, and they all wrote and filed the filings in Washington DC UCC registry. They were unrebutted. They were served on every government in the world. No one rebutted them. So through UCC, they are universal law. At the end of that was in 2012 and 2013, Heather did a final filing where she gave everything back to each individual. So all the power is yours. You can find all of that archived at www.i-uv.com. Originally in 2000, Charles C. Miller, who did the first filing, which he then gifted to Heather to make all of the amendments that she did in 2012, he basically made everyone the secure party, so there was no more debtors. So this is all just really about knowledge base. What do you know and what can empower you? And this is now about empowering each human being, each being. It's not about charging people for information. It's not about doing things for people, show people, because you can't just give something to someone. You have to explain it. You have to teach them to empower themselves, because it's no good doing something for someone because they can't grow if you do it for them. They have to learn. Because if you do something for someone, you know, there always comes a time when you're not there and they have to face it on their own. And if they don't know it, you know, in a short and sweet, they're fucked. So you have to learn it. That's really important. It's really important for everyone to empower themselves and to take the time to learn. And, you know, at this point, I'm not being funny. You know, if people have got time to watch, you know, back-to-back series and seasons of pointless series on Netflix and the like, then you've got time to empower yourself. So there we are. So I heard today that we're in the United Kingdom that they are approving vaccine passports. So there's a divide that's trying to take place. But in the duality, you have to realise that you are all of it. So everything is you. You're doing it all. Do you want this duality, or do you want to unify everything and get rid of everything that isn't? Because all of that, I can tell you, all of that isn't. And it does not serve you as an individual, and it does not serve humanity as a collective. So it needs to go. There are many things you can do. The most important thing is to make yourself aware of the filings. As I said, you can find everything on www.i-uv.com. So there is the perpetuity, the original filing, which is UCC number 2000043135. All of the other filings are amendments of that filing. And there are also, in the old system of governance, it's also a checkmate, because you have the Nuremberg Codes from 1947. You have the Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights by UNESCO from the 19th of October 2005, which every single country in the world has adopted that. It was all agreed unanimously. Article 6 requires consent. Article 11 is that you're not allowed to discriminate. You've got Article 27 says, if there's a health crisis or whatever, they can do X, Y, and Z, but they haven't isolated the virus. They need to bring you evidence of that first before they start shouting about giving you orders. Not to mention the fact that they don't have any authority anyway. And Article 28, no state is allowed to make a law that overrides what's in that declaration. So that really does protect you, even if you're not at the point of believing or knowing that the government doesn't even exist anyway. So there are various other things as well. So there's the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Part 50, the Geneva Convention, 1949, Article 32, Part D. I am just reading this off because I don't know it off by heart, even though I've written down all this information. You have the Executive Order 13818, which was signed on the 20th of December 2017, and released on the 21st of December 2017, and that was about human trafficking. Stopping that, blocking property of people who were trafficking humans. And you are being trafficked if you're being told what to do and you're being asked to perform without a contract. That's called slavery. And then you have 13928, which is the 11th of June 2020, and that is about the ICC, the International Criminal Court. So they're not going to get away with anything because Trump has control of that. And 13959, which he signed on the 12th of November 2020. And that was to make sure that there were no more securities going to be made, and none of them were going to go to SEC anymore, because SEC is owned by China and funding Chinese military, i.e. CCP. So that's what we're seeing. The CCP basically represents slavery, and the United States represents freedom. So that is really what you need to be declaring. There are also many FOI requests where all around the world people have asked for the documents where the governments have isolated this so-called virus that is causing so much hoo-ha everywhere, causing problems for people travelling, going to work, looking after people, going to school, etc, etc, etc. It's all becoming very painful now. The PPE has been alleged to be contaminated as well, so that means the masks, the vaccines, the tests with graphene oxide. This is what is allegedly causing the blood clots as well. But what I'm saying to you as well is it's so important for you to understand that by focusing on it, focus on all this shit, and you're going to keep seeing it. So my best advice to you is anyone who is upsetting you, serve a courtesy notice and forget about them. That's it. They can't take any more action against you or keep on. I know it sounds like a big deal, but it's really not a big deal. And your freedom is really how you perceive it. And if you perceive that you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do the other, you're limited by X, you're limited by Y, you're limited by Z, then, well, you're limited. If you decide that you're not limited by any of that, you are free and you are the authority in your life, not a government or any of its agents. So if you want to remove the limits, the only way you do that is by your own beliefs. That's how your limits are created, by your belief systems. So sometimes you have to just have a spring clean of the actual belief systems, because nothing is true. All is permitted, and you decide what you believe, and the limits are your imagination. As simple as that. But it is very important that you need to start imagining something that doesn't include all of what is being spread by the mainstream media, because that is the only so-called virus, if you like, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this video to YouTube. I don't know if it will stay there. And I'm going to copy some text from a document that I wrote a few weeks ago, because a lot of people are struggling, and people keep asking me for help. What do I do about this? What do I do if I'm a care worker? What do I do? I'm being forced to have this vaccine by it was December a few weeks ago. Now they've changed it to April 2022. What do I do? How do I deal with that? So I've put all of the things that I've talked about into that document. In that document, I've also linked in everything that I've referred to, so that you can go and read it, and you can empower yourself, and then you can pass that on to other people, and they can empower themselves. There is loads of content about OPPT on the I-UV website. There is content about that on BZ Reiger's YouTube channel. She posted some fantastic stuff over the years with Heather, and much more than that as well. So there is loads and loads of content, not just on that channel, on other channels as well. And just pass it on, and empower yourself, empower others, and start imagining something new, because all this is old stuff, and it's all stuff that nobody really wants to experience anymore. Everybody's sick of it. Everybody's tired of it. So stop. How do you change something in your life? You stop thinking about what you don't want, because all the time that you're focusing on what you don't want, you're going to see what you don't want keep appearing. So start focusing, sit on what you do want. You sit quietly and imagine what you do want, and then you start to focus on that. Because make no mistake, it's not seeing is believing. It's the other way around. Believing is seeing. So basically, if you believe first, that's how you see, and that's how something appears into your reality. So that's why I'm saying to you, turn off the television, turn off the radio, come away from these places where they're using hypnotic tones and hypnotic language and hypnotic visuals. Come away from that, turn it off and forget about it, and start to imagine what you really, really, really want, because that's the only way to end all of this. So other than that, a miracle is a manifestation of your imagination. So that is the miracle. You make the miracle yourself. So and that's really where the power is, in knowing that. And you have to bring that into your heart space. You have to feel as if it's already done, as if Neville Goddard puts it, your wish is fulfilled. And Greg Braden talks about this. Neville Goddard, Dr. Wayne Dyer. There are many, many, many people who talk about wishes fulfilled. You have to when you imagine something, you have to imagine it as if it's already done, as if you already have something. If you want something, you're in a state of desire. So you keep wanting it, you're always desiring something. That means that you don't have it. You have to imagine as if you have whatever it is you want in your hands, or you're actually experiencing what it is that you want to experience. So that's really how you do it. You have to feel that in your heart. It's not really imagination, although people think it's in your head, in your mind. It's not really. It's a heart-based action. So people also think that imagination is not an action, but it is an action. It's inside, and it starts in your heart, and that's how you do it. So as you imagine in your heart space, which your heart also has neurons, the same as your brain. It is another, your heart brain is very important, because your heart is the first thing in your body that is created when you're when you're conceived, when your body is conceived inside your mother. Your heart is the first thing that's created, and that's and I would guess that your etheric heart is, well, your heart is eternal. So before it comes into the body as a physical, your heart is eternal anyway. So the eternal heart exists outside of the body, not just in the body. So I don't want to go too deep into it. These are all things that you can discover yourself, things that I've discovered over the last 6 or 7 years, and things that help you to expand and to imagine different things and better things, to allow you to get out of an old, outdated system that does not serve humanity in any way, shape or form. So I will leave you with that. I don't want to go on too long. People don't want long, drawn out videos that go on and on for hours. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I think I'm around 20 odd minutes. So and I'm going to put the text to the document underneath. So copy it, paste it, whatever you want to do. It does fit onto one piece of paper that you can fold up, take with you, put it in your pocket if you want. Or you can just embody it. You can say it once you realise and you remember it all. You're empowered. You don't need paper. Your energy does it for you. So a bit like in Star Wars. Remember when Obi-Wan Kenobi went into the city with the drones, with the droids, sorry, and he said to the stormtrooper, "These are not the droids you're looking for." And the guy said, "Yeah, no, they're not. Carry on." So it's a bit like that. It's all about energy, the force. The force is your energy from your own heart, and you control it all, because you're the real. You are the thing in your universe that is real, and everything else is a projection of your subconscious or your conscious mind, depending on where you're focusing. But all the little details of what you see around you in the holographic world that is around you, they are projections from your subconscious. So Inception is a very good film that demonstrates that, worth taking a look at. But yeah, this is all about frequency now, and moving your frequency to a place where you're not creating harm against anyone else, you're not creating harm against yourself. You're not blocking yourself. You want to get to a frequency where there's love, healing, joy, bliss. That frequency is recognised universally as 528 hertz. So check that out as well. That's very important and well worth a look at and investigating and researching that too. So I will put the text at the end here, and I'm going to upload to YouTube and BitChute and to Rumble as well. Okay, any questions, let me know, and I'll hopefully do an update soon. Okay, take care. Bye.